I've been walking a while. I'm starting to feel that weariness. So I'm gonna do like walking tips. It's gonna be more than that, but I'm stressing myself out a little bit, trying to make it concise and all that. So I'm not gonna try to make it super concise. If you want the tips, you'll have to sit through my newbie experience here. Only 20 seconds in, so not so bad. So we'll start. This thing called like walking and trim. Well, it's actually for flying helicopters. There's a thing called the trim. You pull it, and it auto adjusts the rotors, so they balance out. How that applies to the human body is like right now I'm just walking how I am. I'm not in trim. I feel myself slacking because I'm getting wary. But the more you slack, the more strain on your body. So what I need to do is get myself in trim. So I guess I take that deep breath. I want to focus on the part, like I was texting for a while, so my neck is hurting. It's not really good to do while you're walking, but I went ahead and did that. So I kind of need to adjust that out a little bit. But the main thing is that stand up straight. Like if you're marching, walking long distances, if you're like a survival prepper and you don't know this, like this is key to know. This is so key to know. Really, a lot of us just walk, stand up straight. You stand up straight. You want to get your breathing. Like my breathing sounds a little. I'm hustling a little bit. I've been hustling. And I'm trying to talk. Oh, another thing that helps. If you got some music going or some whatnot, is I learned about cadences. Not necessarily from. I gotta figure out where I am. I think I see. Okay, yeah, I see. There's a quick turn up on the road. It's cadences. I learned about them in the military originally. And you're running and you're singing along, which you're like, you're just trying to. And they don't really teach you the esoteric occult, which I got through experience. I learned through, I guess, osmosis of doing the thing on my own after the military. Sure, osmosis is not the right word for that, but you get what I'm saying. So, key to that is, it's in the voice and the breath. You want to be deliberate. So let's say my cadence is la la la. That's dumb, but say that's it. La la la. Like you want to say it forcefully, and it's important to like. I don't know, I think it's important to kind of picture it like the best of a battlefield sort of scenario. But you can picture it as people are watching. So I know what it is. I was telling I forgot. There was because this was like years ago. I figured this out. There's 48 laws of power, and one of the laws is I'm checking my knives. Make sure to always check my knives. They're good and secure. One of the 48 laws of power is enter actual boldness. So that's like key when you're doing a cadence and you're voicing or singing the words. And back then I was listening to mindless self-indulgence. There's this Command and Conquer World War 3, like the Soviet song. I'd like to learn that. That'd be cool. I sing in a little bit like those. So you don't know all the words, so you try your best, but you voice them, and you enter that actual boldness, and it sets a good mindset, and it keeps the chest and the lungs, because you want room for your lungs. Let's see how my feet are. I mean, I got kind of keeping the pace here. I guess trim wise, it's. For me, it's just really all about the back, but I mean, if you're dragging your feet, I don't drag my feet. So I just thought of that problem someone might have that would take them out of the so-called trim. Now, there was a time I walked it was a little over 30 miles, and it was hard to lift my feet up over like a curb. All that's extra drag. Probably gotta make sure your shoulders. I had a problem with my shoulders, I was calling staying up straight because I'm looking down at the camera. I guess part of it too is part of my problem is I'm looking down at the camera. This pulls me out of trim. If I put the camera like this, I'm looking like straight ahead, like I'm marching. Like this feels right. besides the strain on my arms. So I think you want to kind of hold your arms out the side. You don't want to be like super like in, so you're like compressing yourself, but you don't want to be like extended, so you're using up unnecessary energy. And this might sound dumb, but if you can't walk like 25 miles, and then or if you're gonna walk 25 miles and be like, I'm dead after it, and be a slumped like crumple of human fucking meat and bones, especially if you got like a heavy ass backpack, like you're gonna like get your bug out bag, it's very important. So I call it keeping in trim. I originally learned it because I'm like, I want to learn how to fly a helicopter, and I'm still gonna learn how to fly a helicopter. I probably half-ass start one and get it off the ground, but I don't think I can land it too well or control it very well once it's up in the air. I just could like fiddle around with the ignition controls, and I know to let it warm up to a certain amount of RPMs and whatnot. But the trim, I'm trying to remember, it was a long time ago, and I just incorporated it into my like everyday knowledge. It like pulls the blades so that they're cut in the air at the most efficient possible. Okay, so the next significant thing like that is it saves on fuel, because you're flying a helicopter. All the hours you fly it decreases its value. Like a helicopter has like, I don't know, it's either like flight hours or distance. It might be like 900 flight hours, and then it like loses like a quarter of its value. So, and then you gotta, another thing like walking in a helicopter is the same, so you gotta plan the flight path. So like if you're gonna go like 25 miles, you know, you think you're on a limited amount of fuel, even if you got water and food. So you gotta plan like, you might have to take a rest at a certain spot, like just so you might have to fuel up a helicopter. But you don't want your helicopter like putzing out of fuel, so that it can't stay in trim, so that it's like now it's losing more fuel. A lot of it's body awareness and kinesthetic awareness. So I mean, yoga really helps. It's like I just made that like naturally like this really, because it does. But I don't do like a whole lot of yoga. I don't even know a whole lot of yoga. I just know like the most basic. What I'll definitely do when I get back is, and some of this is like the push-up poses really I learned in the military. So stretch my abdomen, straighten my back out. I'll get into like a push-up ready position. I'll do like 3 push-ups, but I'll do them slow. And it's like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, powerful, show off or anything. Like I'm doing it specifically to put the stress on all those muscles, to bring them into alignment and to conjunction, but into a synchronicity. And there's a lot of back muscles you gotta use too, but it's not like the back muscles aren't being held up like that. Like, you know, they've got some weight off of them because the weight's on your arms and your shoulders, which also need that little bit of, they actually need more pressure on them, because like this, like as I'm standing up, there's really no pressure on my arms or anything, my shoulders. So like, or even if I had a backpack on, it'd be like, it'd be strained. Like, it's like activating pressure. But my back, I mean, sometimes you walking so long, it's hard to even turn my neck. Which, you know, at that point, it's like, I gotta work that out. That's no good. It's kind of survival out here. But going like this, it takes that pressure off your back, but you're using those, you're activating all those long, deep internal muscles to keep the posture straight. And then we'll do the bend, which is like a push-up resting position, and that stretches the arms and it stretches the abdomen. And you can do this mid-walk. There's been times I've done this mid-walk. It's honestly like a fuel-up. I like to find a private place to do it though. I don't just do it like, I could just do it right here, but I wasn't planning on it. I'm almost back. I'm gonna drag this on for 20 minutes. 27 minutes. Okay, I'm not going to drag it on for that long. So there's this, you do like this with your push-up, and then you do the one where you arch your back like this. And that takes all that tension off your back. It sort of allows the muscles to go from a contraction to a rest. But they're doing it all at the same time. I'll do that a few times. Then I might do like 3 more push-ups. And then there's like the child's pose, rest pose, where like you're on your knees sort of, and you just take your arms, like if this is your arms, and you just extend them as far, you reach as far in front of you as you can. I like doing the, can't show it, but where you take your arm and you just pull it, and it gets the shoulders. I mean, you can stop at a wall too, and put your foot up against the wall, like sort of like so it's like this, and then your legs going kind of straight up, and that pulls on, stretches the hamstrings and whatnot. I don't stretch like I should have. Like I don't have all the greatest habits. I'm trying to build those, and I'm starting like low for where I could be, according to like what I know. Like there's knowledge and there's wisdom. Knowledge is knowing. Wisdom is being able to act on that knowledge. I have a lot of knowledge. I haven't built up the wisdom. That's how Mark Passio put it, from like this Chinese teacher. And so I guess I say that partly to show like I'm struggling just like everybody else who's been on like a self-improvement journey, but they're just moving super slow at it. I'm firing more on all cylinders because I got my meds, but like I was talking to somebody, and there's natural remedies, and there's root causes to why I'm fucked up the way I am. So that like I'll be sleepy as fuck all the fucking time, and I'll be depressed and all that, and my brain's not firing on all cylinders. Not at all. Now it's firing mostly. And this allows me, not being sleepy and all that sort of stuff, it allows me to get out and do a walk like this, which will in turn boost, like if I use what I've been given, if the ends justify the means, and the ends are good, it will allow me, when I'm off meds, to be better adapted. I'll be able to stay awake longer. I'll be more fit and healthy. But that's a tangent. Let's see, more walking tips. I mean, really, I just thought this because it's like the whole like sand and trim thing, and I looked at my phone and I'm like, oh, that other video uploaded. I do another one. I really was just thinking about like the stand and trim as a metaphor, and there's all sorts of like videos on YouTube. You can learn all about flying a helicopter. And then I guess I got, what was that called? This guy came up with it, and it's real too, real, but I believe it. It's like autistic or schizophrenic. Let's just call it schizotistic. Yeah, that's the easy way. There's just the other way to say it is autistic phrenia, autisphenia, or something like that. That one sounds funnier. But it was like there's the horseshoe effect where two opposites kind of meet in the middle, and so like there's this weird place where someone can be like directly in the middle, and they don't shift quite like the middle. They stay in the middle. Then someone can be on an extreme or the other, or someone can be on both extremes, and they can flip between the two, or they can kind of bring them together. I think I bring them together because the way he was putting it, which makes a lot of sense. Like schizophrenia and autistic is differently abled. And I'm not even about all that political correctness. Like if I fucking ended up in a fucking wheelchair, I'd be handicapped. But I'm not handicapped from schizophrenia or the autism aspects of it, because like there's vertical thinking, which is getting like really deep down into a specific topic, which is kind of autistic, and not being able to see like the lateral, which is just connecting two random things. And the schizophrenic just connects everything lateral. That's why like that light post I'm looking at can be somehow related. I'm just making shit up. It's just like some typical delusion. It could be, I don't know. It could just be some sign that I'm like, I don't even want to sound like. Let's just skip that, all right? You can come up with your own, like, there's plenty of examples. But like lateral. So in this case, the lateral would be, trim and helicopter terms and not terms, but doctrines, we'll call it. And that's me pulling from the idea. See, I'm laterally thinking from doctrines of war. One area this really helps in is, go back to walking real quick. The Book of Five Rings. See, if you waited, if you actually listen through this long, you're about to get another great tip. Read the Book of Five Rings, or at least the part about stance and gaze. I see the part about cadence too. It's because it's like, for me, it was like military kind of, but not military, like not the cult, the military, like too much using like. I was on my own mission. Like, I'm my own soldier. So while doing the cadence and basically you're basically meditating on your voice and your breath and getting a body awareness and then projecting it outward with boldness. There's also, you're maintaining the stance and the gaze from the Book of Five Rings and the spirit. That's the other part. That's a big part. Holy shit, and we're 17 minutes in. Like, a lot of people are going to be like, fuck this, I ain't listening this long. I don't blame you, but you miss out on this part. The spirit, like, your spirit's not supposed to change. And I looked at, like, how far am I a few times. My spirit's stable, but there's been times where I've wanted to look because my spirit was, like, waning. I felt it a little bit. I didn't have, or I see, like, a lamp, like, oh, I'm close, and my spirit gets up high. But that's not good. You gotta keep it steady, because it helps keep your body steady, but it also stops you from having like false hope or the other false hope or giving up. Another thing too is, like, if you're sort of on the end of your journey, you're gonna be looking rough. But I mean, street survival rules, I think it's not, I know it's not good to show weakness. Like, I'm coming up on my street and I gotta be aware. Like, I gotta keep the gaze as I'm crossing this big ass road. There's clearly no one around, but I'm still keeping the gaze is, well, the gaze is complicated. You have to go read that for yourself. It's peripheral and it's deep, but there's also some metaphorical stuff about, like, you gotta see the present as if it's far away and the far away as if it's present. So you got to see, like, when you're at the beginning of your journey, you've got to see the end of your journey as if it's here. And when you're at the end of your journey, you got to see as is you're the beginning of your journey. So I'm at the end of my journey. So I have to fill myself with the spirit that my journey is just beginning. Because who knows, I might get here and there might be some craziness going on. And then this might not be the end of my journey. Plus, it keeps the spirit stable. So, I was in the military. I learned that coming in from base, this is before I read the Book of Five Rings. There were I was kind of dumb, but I learned a lot too along the way. We get back in from from our mission, whatever. There was a couple times I fucked up because we were back in the wire. I let myself slip. So that's why you keep the spirit steady. What's the other? Stance. So stance is like your fighting stance. And a lot of that's being in trim, you're not like unbalanced to one side or the other. So you keep your fighting stance as you're walking. I mean, it's kind of easy because, like, social situations are hard for me. Maybe I will drag this out 27 minutes, whatever. It's my video. Alright, so hypervigilance. Social situations are hard for me. Hypervigilance is easy because I'm a tranny, and And this is I gotta chill. Like I gotta chill a bit on this because like two people was walking by me, right? And I'm thinking like, okay, I got my knives. Like if they jump me, I'll be ready. Even if I die in the process, I'll fight to the death kind of thing. I'm ready. I'm ready to go into the arena. But as I passed, it was just a couple. I couldn't see them too well because it was dark. It was just a couple, and as I passed, the woman was all like, "Hi!" Like she turned around, and was like, "Hi," and I was just like, "Hi." And I waved back, and I was just like, "Whoa!" Like, oh, more walking tips from the Obscurum. If you get this is gonna sound silly, but that's what makes it so awesome. If you get the D&D Pathfinders, see the silliness of it. I gotta get over that. I'm like this anticipation of making you all wait for I like the fact that you're all like, what the fuck? But I'll fuck you up with this. Like it was me versus you, and we're traveling. I'll fuck you up with this D&D shit, right? It's the Inner Sea Gods or something like that. And it's this book specifically because if you look up the gods on the wikis, they don't have the maxims, and a lot of them are very useful. But the one Desna is probably the best to start to just explain a little bit. If I can remember, like, be ready for friends and unexpected challenges, learn from what is different, feed her for walking. She's all about travel and whatnot. Uh, Follow a hunch but bear the consequences. So these are they're aphorisms, which how art works is I think God speaks through all art. You guys probably saying in the other video is like God doesn't want the Bible or the Quran or Buddha or Satanist or whatever, like doesn't want them just to have complete fucking say over everything that God does. Like God just rains it down. And I did hear recently a Christian say in the end of days, like everyone will be filled with the Spirit and be like, not everyone, but there would be many, many people that would be just like pushing it out there. Like I think that's art. I think it's probably like the second awakening of fucking human consciousness. So on that light, I wouldn't discount something like some fucking random D&D aphorisms which some asshole came up with, some asshole getting paid and probably a neckbeard, but who cares if he's like it was muses speaking through that, and there is wisdom. Like Gorham is another good one. Gorham is one of his is will you fight, and that's just a question. It's a yes or no question, and the philosophy behind that is it doesn't matter if you're like the weakest little because he's an orc god. If you're like the weakest little goblin, right? And there's a major battle, and you're going to be like basically insignificant. At least that's like how it looks, whatnot. And then if you are ours, it doesn't matter. All that matters is how do you answer the question? Will you fight? Now, if you take that into walking, and you just adopt that as your flow state, because the walk itself can be a battle, like hours long, and I was plotting different points I was gonna hit, and I was gonna try to take this crazy way back, but I fucked up, so I had to adapt. I had to adapt my strategy to if I was gonna have like a social encounter with the constables, try and settle things diplomatically instead of just trying to be like under the radar, off the grid. And plus, I knew I needed to get back, so I needed to take a shorter route, the more direct route, and expose whatnot. One thing, I guess we'll get some personal, then I'll wrap it up. Oh man, I've got some deep emotional issues of rejection and whatnot, blah blah blah. But there's people that like this guy came up on me. There's a lot of people that come up on me and check me out because they think I'm like this beautiful woman or something like that, sexy woman. And they're like, oh fuck, it's a dude, and they drive off. That shit hurts. But I usually like I'll simp for it. That's the truth. I just it's desperation, whatever. But like someone like me, it's like love is fucking hard to come by. Affection, intimacy, all that shit's really hard to come by. I I I kept telling myself like I gotta have faith, right? And then the Limp Bizkit song like, oh you gotta have faith, and so I got that song on my phone, and listened to it a couple times. But then that later on, that guy, car pulled up on me, and this happened several times throughout the night. And I told him I'm walking, but then I said, but thank you, and that was like totally different. Like usually I'm like anxious or hostile, or because I'm expecting to get rejected again, or I'm like super eager, and then sometimes I get picked up, and like I do get picked up, and I do get lucky, but like it's like disappointing after, and it like fucks up my spirit. So like that's what I'm getting at with this whole back to the spirit thing. Like, oh, that shit will fuck up my spirit. But I said I'm walking. I said thank you. So whether or not he was gonna reject me, I thanked him because I guess he did find me like attractive. That's a compliment, even if it ends up a backwards one. Uh, this happened several more times, but I did it the first time, and I was really contemplating it, and I put on that song. Because maybe I should have had faith and just, jumped in. I've done that lots of times. But it's like, I got, like, there's a song, it's a Limp Bizkit song, it's like, I, like, picked my heart up off the floor. And so that kind of gave me the wisdom, I guess, to be more okay all the other times. There was, like, several times where I just was just like, I'm walking. This is not a time to be diverging off, because there's reasons, like I got my meds and all that shit. Like I don't need to get mixed up in no drama. And I'm meditating. I'm trying to center myself. I don't need somebody else's approval and then them taking it away. Like I don't need that fluctuation in my spirit. But each time I did that, I was more okay. I was more steady. And I don't know. I guess I feel kind of good about it. Like I don't feel so down on myself, but all right, looks like it's time out. I can't believe I went all the way, but why not? I was like, fucking get all I can out of the freaking thing of time.